Hi there, Book here. Once again, we're continuing right where we left off with the Antichrist, with um, the whore of Babylon, the dragon, 7 heads, on which she sits. It's story in the Bible. It's prophecy, starting with end times. So, as I was saying before, some key things that took away from the last video. If you watched the whole thing, great. If you only got to see anything else, look at the very end of it because I sum it up again. The Antichrist, or watch the video, sure, share, like, save, send the people, talk about it. The Antichrist will be the next king of Israel. Israel hasn't had a king 2,500 years. It's going to happen again. When you see it, you know that all the things I said in the first video, lots of stuff, will come true. And that's how you know God exists, You just read, and he'll reveal himself to you. Come on. Pretty easy. So we're going back into with the whore of Babylon, which we've described as Israel. It says so in the Old Testament multiple times. God himself uses Israel as uses an analogy of a prostitute to describe Israel, and his sister, Israel's sister, is another prostitute, which also includes Sodom and Gomorrah. And this is what he says about them: their actions pale in comparison to the actions of Israel. Israel is the worst. I'm for Israel. I'm for the success and the peace of Israel. But here's the thing. I'm for Israel because God is for Israel. Because he won't destroy it. Because they are his people. I'm not going to say wipe out Israel. But Israel does have a great punishment coming to them. And it's not going to come by the hands of man. It's going to come by God himself. Divine retribution. How is it going to come about? The Antichrist. The Antichrist, there are 5 kings in Israel according to the prophecies. 5 kings have fallen. These are the first 5 kings of Israel. When Israel split, those kings don't count anymore because they were no longer considered kings of Israel. They were kings of 2 different places. In fact, God himself says, they have set up kings and I knew not. That's in Proverbs, I believe. So the 6th king, the one that will be established by God, because he's going to allow it to happen, the 6th king was Jesus, right? They don't believe that Jesus was the 6th king. 5 kings are fallen. 1 is meaning alive. That's Jesus. But they think that he wasn't a king. So the 6th king that they believe will be immortal is their next king. Israel has not had that next king. That king is the 7th king, truly the 7th king. And he is also the Antichrist, which is the 8th king. Because he will go and conquer, go out to the Mediterranean, conquer some more. As he's coming back home, he's going to fall into the Mediterranean, not going to be found. People are going to assume he's dead. One day, maybe the next day, I don't know, he's going to come back out of the sea. He's going to show up on the shores of Israel, or of Tyre, and he's going to say, I've been saved by that thing. What thing? Oh snap, it's a dragon. A freaking fire-breathing dragon that can talk. It's Satan, the one who tricked Eve in the garden, the one who gave them the fruit. And it's going to be that dragon who has power to give to that Antichrist, that king of Israel. He's going to make his peace treaties. Halfway through, he's going to start destruction of Israel. God himself will defend Israel. And they will recognize that, as it says in the Old Testament, they'll look on the one who they pierced, Jesus, their actual 6th king. So back to the whore of Babylon, we know it's Israel. And the city on 7 hills, that's a fun one. We know it's 7 hills because in Revelation, where it talks about the dragon, it explicitly states these seven heads are the 7 hills, the 7 nations on whom the whore sits. People have used so many different analogies. They say, oh well, there's 7 mountains ranges ish around this continent here. It's America. There's 7. If you look at it, the major mountains, there's 7 around England here. It's the Pope. Yeah. No. Nations, not hills. Nations. They're described as hills because look into the archaeology of any nation. Israel, the Middle East, they have a very specific way of doing things. Israel did not build any of the places that they were in. Here's what they did do. They took over. They destroyed. They leveled burned with fire, and then rebuilt. It's layers and layers of civilizations. Any archaeologist will tell you this, if you even find an archaeologist. If you don't, find an anthropology student. You found one, good, I'm telling you. This is how things are in the Middle East. They built on top of cities. Jericho, same thing. In fact, they say that's why Jericho fell. It's not because of God, it's because they were building on top of other nations, and then one day it just fell. It just kind of fell, except for this one, that one house. But, meh. Except the Bible says it fell for a different reason, and that one house was standing because God saved it. Coincidence? It's either coincidence or God exists. And either way, science cannot explain to you why that house remained standing. Or the structure of that house, which also was set to hold flax for their oxen, which is where the spies of Israel were hid when they came into Jericho. So, I mean, come on, guys. You gotta take whatever evidence, whatever information you have, and really analyze it. If the only way you can analyze it is by throwing it out, you don't want the truth. And it's as simple as that. Analyze what you get. Give everything a fair shot. Otherwise, you're just biased. So, and I know you did. Obviously, somebody somewhere wants to write right now in a comment saying, "Oh, you're biased because you believe in the Bible, and you can't believe in the Bible and not be biased." You don't have a degree in anthropology, do you? I had to study more cultures than you've even heard of. I have to suspend my beliefs to understand what it is other people are doing. I graduated. So, I mean, come on. You really, if that's all you got, then you're failing. Anyways, so we've got the Whore of Babylon, the Seven Hills. The Seven Hills, it's really easy to find too. Go into the Old Testament, which is the first half of the Bible, the first 3/4 of the Bible, to the book of Deuteronomy. I believe it's chapter 11. I'm going to look really quick. But I'm going to tell you, it lists when Israel first came out of Egypt, 40 years after, when they actually were let into the promised land. God says, you're going to have to get rid of these people. This is what you're starting with. Israel will be, these 7 nations. You got to get rid of these 7 nations. If you don't, they're going to be a thorn in your side. They're going to mess you guys up, and you're going to regret it. Israel didn't do that. But it explicitly states 7. Coincidence? No. If you want to say coincidence, no. Just no. Stop. Stop it right now. Stop it. 7 nations? Do you know how many nations were around there? Way more than 7. Why? Why these 7 nations? Why 7 nations at all? Why not just take over the whole area? No, specifically, it's the specific land. And that land had 7 nations. No one else in history can fit into this tiny little bite-sized capsule of prophecy where it has to be the Whore of Babylon. God himself says Israel's a whore. God himself says Israel's founded on 7 nations. So, I mean, come on. So, Deuteronomy, read through Deuteronomy. It's in the beginning. Because God himself says, actually, you probably find it in Joshua, which is right after Deuteronomy also, because that's where they went to start conquering. So that's what it is. The seven heads are the 7 nations. This compact mystery was a mystery and is no longer a mystery. Think about it this way, right? When it comes to the resurrection, the rapture, right? Because it will happen. People say nobody knows the time, nobody knows the place, the hour when Jesus will come back, right? His second coming. True. But here's the problem, right? When he does come back, suddenly everyone will know the hour. Then are they going to look at the Bible and say, yo, the Bible says nobody knows the hour. So now we know the Bible was lying, right? No. Because that's stupid. The Bible says no one will know the hour. But once God reveals something, then it's known. That's how prophecy works. Once the prophecy is fulfilled, he says, Israel will have another king. The prophecy is referring to Jesus. They've been fulfilled. Can we look at that and say they haven't been done yet? And that's how we know? No, because it's ridiculous. It's desperately searching for anything to be true. And in which case, you'll never find the truth because you never want it to be true. Whether or not you want it to be true, I encourage you to look, to consider it. And if it doesn't make sense to you, sure, fine. But the fact is, what I've told you about Israel, about the king, about the Antichrist, when you see a king in Israel after 2,500 years within my lifetime, within the next few years, then you'll know it's true. Whenever it happens, you see it happen, you know I wasn't lying. Because the chances of it happening and the chances of me saying it and no one else saying it, I mean, come on. Surely. I mean, somebody else has to know. I don't believe that's just me that God's revealed this to, but I am the one right now trying to spread this. So, and I'm not getting paid for this, so I mean, come on. I'm just doing this because God revealed it to me, and it's important. I believe it's important. We need to know what we believe, If you don't believe in Christianity, I don't care. If you want to go to hell, I don't care. I really don't. If you go to hell, I don't care. I really don't. None of that matters to me. What matters to me is my salvation. Is it selfish? Yeah, I'm a selfish human being. We all are. So what? I don't have to do anything. Jesus did everything. All I can do is share what I know. And people will choose what they will. You can't force somebody into heaven. You can't. You also can't force somebody into hell. You can't. It's a choice. All hell is the absence of God. If you're an atheist, it's exactly what you want. That's the place you want to be without God. And let me tell you this. As horrible as the world is, because people are in it, people like me, people like you, we're some good, some bad, some worse than others, whatever. But the fact is we're imperfect. Because we're imperfect, there's going to be evil. The moment that any one good person slips up just a little bit for themselves, that's evil. You might think, oh, that's great. That's ridiculous. No, that's not how it works. Let's say I'm a great person my entire life, and then I just decide to rape somebody or murder somebody, and then I go to the judge and I say, it's my first offense, and they say, oh yeah, look at his track record. This is a good guy. We should forgive him. That's what you're saying when you say that God can't exist because of all this evil stuff that happens. You're not looking at yourself. Have you ever taken anything for yourself? Have you ever put any thought into your own success despite the needs of anyone else? The answer is yes. And because of that answer, that's why hell is openly available for everyone. So we can't use that excuse. I got a little off track. Where are we talking about here? We got the Antichrist. Oh yes, the seven hills. So we know exactly what that is. When you see it happening, you know. I encourage you to share this, to like it, to talk with people about it. People who want to know about it. If you're an atheist, talk with atheists about it. Don't get me wrong. I am not against anyone. I am against beliefs. I'm against falsehood. I'm against anything that is a lie. And you might say, well, Christianity is a lie. I say, tell me how. Tell me exactly how. I am not too proud to look into it. Legitimately. I studied anthropology, the most secular thing anyone could ever do. I can do it. And I'm willing to do it because the moment I find this to be a lie, as I've been searching, I'm not searching to prove it, I'm searching to prove it wrong. And because I have not found that, that's why I stick with it. Any other religion I have found to be a lie. This religion just happens to come with prophecy. And prophecy is fun. So, we've identified the Whore of Babylon, the mysteries which are no longer mysteries, because they've been revealed to you, to me, and to whoever was watching, to whoever you're going to talk to about this. I really encourage you to speak to a Christian. Um, and if they don't know, then just go on to the next person. Don't harass them because they don't know, and it's useless. It's a waste of time. Um, they'll tell you, come to my church, come to this Bible study. I know a person who knows the answers to these. And if they have to tell you that, let me tell you, that's a cop out right there. If someone says, I know someone who knows the answer, what they're saying is, I don't care to look into the answer myself. If they say, I'll look into that and never do, they're saying, I don't care about the answer. If they say, I just don't worry about that stuff, if they use a cop-out answer like, nobody knows the hour, nobody can know that stuff, it's a cop-out. They're saying, I don't care to look into it. And if they're doing that, they're not the person you need to be talking to. In fact, guide them to Matthew chapter 7, verse 22, where Jesus himself says, lots of people are going to say they did so many things for me, and I don't know them. They're going to hell because they chose it. They chose a life without me, and that's all hell is, a life without God. And you cannot have happiness. You cannot have joy. Despite how crazy this world is, you can smile. You can find reasons to smile because God exists, because he's still here, because he's still involved. When he completely removes himself, that's hell. You will have no reason ever to smile. It's just complete and utter selfishness and evil. And you're not just there with people. You might think, oh, that's great, I'll just be there. It's a place with all the atheists. I want to go there. But you're also going to be there with demons, devils, evil. The problem with that is, it says in the Bible, even Satan himself believes in God. You know what? Do you know how horrible it would be to be around a demon, an angel who had fallen, an angel who knew the glorious presence of God and chose not to be around it because of you? Because they didn't like the fact that God put his pride and joy into creating you, and you didn't believe in God, and you're both in the same place. They will have no qualms in torturing you. And who will save you? You are not going to a place where you can just be and be free from anything regarding God. Demons will be there too, and they hate you, and they hate God, and they hate you that much more that you had the ability to know God and chose to call it a lie. You called them a lie. I mean, I don't even want to think about what it would be like to be around a demon because I chose to be there. That's like seeing a lion's den or bear and saying, you know what? I'm going to go box that bear. Yeah, give me my boxing gloves. I can do this. It's no big deal. That bear is going to maul you. That lion is going to rip you to shreds. That demon is going to do that to you for eternity. You cannot get away from it. You will have no savior. It's torment for them and for you. Hell was not made for humans. It was made for those who rebelled against God. And you know what? You fall into that category, you're going to go there with them. All of you will be tormented together. Is that what you want? Well, then take it. I don't care. I'm just letting you know what it really is. So we need a new topic now for, well, let's see, we already looked into some of the major prophecy regarding end times, the most relevant to us. I don't need to talk too much about Jesus. Of course, this is about Christianity. We know the basis of Christianity, New Testament. Jesus died, rose again, ascended into heaven, coming back. He will be coming back. So what we will do is let's see, think of another thing. Some other topics. I've got some written down for you. So for now, I guess I'll say bye. I'll come up with another video. I've got plenty of things to talk about, let me tell you. There are so many things. Once again, I encourage you to like, share, subscribe. And more than anything, talk to people about this stuff. Find a Christian, someone you know who's Christian, and say, hey, I heard this stuff. What do you think about this? And when they tell you, if they're trying to cop out, find somebody else. Really, don't waste any time on them, because they're just in it for the numbers. Like, if they save a certain number of people, they can go to God and say, look, I saved all these people. And the Bible says very clearly, Jesus says very clearly about that. They are the kind of people who search land and sea looking for new converts, and when they find them, they turn them into twice the child of hell as they are. That's a huge statement. So find people who are willing to talk about it. Find atheists and say, hey, I saw this video, direct them to the video, talk about the video. Say, what do you think about this stuff? Like, is this legit? Do you think this stuff makes sense according to the Bible? Get a Bible. You know, go online, look at these verses, look at the prophecies. Consider the things I've said and find out for yourself, because I do encourage you to read it for yourself, not just these verses. Read the entire chapter of whatever verse I take. Read the entire book of whatever verse I take. You can't have the full context unless you read the entire thing. And let me tell you, the context of the Bible is the Bible. Ultimately, if you want to know about Christianity, you need to read the entire Bible, the entire thing. And it's no excuse to say you can't. Find an audio Bible. There's apps on any device you can think of. You can find an app. If you're on the computer, go online, onto the website, audio Bible it up. 10 chapters a day, 12 chapters a day, you'll be done in 60 days, 90 days at most. That's it. Just listen to it. Just listen to it. Let it cycle through. Say, that's weird. Write it down. Post the questions. I'll talk about them. I'll let you know about the context, what I know, and you take it or leave it. It's very simple. This is the basis of science. It's the basis of gnosos, which is the Greek word for science, to know. This is how we know. We study. This is what we do. So I encourage you to actually do that, and to encourage others to do that by asking questions. So once again, this is Book, signing off.